Hello everyone, it's Sarah Spiker here. Unplugging from self-destructive tendencies, choosing own path, and the bear is what I want to talk to you about today. I just got off a call with a mentor of mine, and prior to that with a client of mine, actually team, powerful business partners. And this has been my office, connected to the nature. As we, in our own ways, we're literally saying, you know what, we're doing it our own way. We are choosing our own ways. And then a beautiful confirmation rolled just down the hill from there. A big black bear came as my mentor and I were in the depth of conversation. So here's what's going on here. Our kids are school-aged kids, and I'm gonna start conversation here. Our kids are school-aged kids, and they have been asking to stay home for quite some time now. They did not want to go to school last year. We kind of sent them and ended up being homeschooled for the rest of the year through the quarantine. And they have been asking throughout the summer to stay home even if the school resumes. And of course, it's a scary decision because for every parent out there right now, there's no manual, there's no right or wrong decisions. You simply have to trust yourself, and you have to trust that whatever it is that you do, if you have the privilege to make the choice to begin with, many don't, is to simply trust yourself and do what feels right, even and especially when it's counterintuitive. So we decided to keep them home this year. And there was a lot of conversations because, you know, as adventurous as I personally am, and we homeschooled before when we were traveling, it's still a big ask. It's a big responsibility. And there were a lot of conversations that my husband and I had to have of how we're going to pull this off. Not just logistically, but emotionally, in particular, being together 24/7, being solely responsible for kids' education when neither one of us is an educator, right? But at the end of the day, we decided, no, this is what feels right for us, not what somebody else is dictating, but what feels right for us. So this, what feels right, has been kind of an underlying thing that I remember from throughout my entire life. Unconventional choices, but at the end of the day, really what has felt right. And then a couple of years ago, I started to notice that due to various circumstances, I'm not going to go into details right now, and there's still a lot of things that I am yet processing, so I'm not ready to share it out yet. But I started to realize that there were a couple of things that I started to do that felt easy. They didn't feel right, but they felt easy at the time. But I was not aware of their long-term effect, and those were self-destructive tendencies. And it was breaking commitments to myself bit by bit, piece by piece, not saying what I felt here, not expressing myself there, not honoring what my body was calling for here. And, you know, slowly but surely, things have snowballed. And 5 years later, here I was in a very honest conversation with my own mentor, who was able to notice this pattern and who was able to hold space and guide me through it. And we were really going into the depth of what is that it's actually happening, where is this disconnect between what I innately know and what is it I chose to do. And then I turned around and there was the bear. And the reason why I wanted to share this with you is in all these years since we've been living here, we've only seen a bear maybe once or twice. This has been his second visit in past week and a half. More frequent, according to some of the prints that are still out there. Curious, so I went and again reminded myself of what the spiritual meaning of a bear sighting is, and it cannot be a more perfect timing, and I'm having a goosebumps here just sharing this with you. So the primary meaning of a bear spirit animal is strength and confidence, standing against adversity, taking action, and leadership. The spirit of the bear indicates it's time for healing or using healing abilities to help self and others. The bear medicine emphasizes the importance of solitude, quiet time, and rest. And the spirit of the bear provides strong grounding forces. I mean, what a divine timing. It was just like, this is so amazing. So amazing. I needed to share this with you. Because the signs, once we really take the time and quiet down and look around, the signs are always there. The signs are always there that point us into the direction we are truly meant to go. And yes, there's going to be ego, there's going to be fears that are going to be derailing us. But ultimately, looking at the big picture, we always arrive to where we're meant to go. Along the way, we're simply picking up lessons, and those lessons are being served as long as we actually learn those lessons. And looking back for the past couple of years in particular, in those self-destructive tendencies that I mentioned earlier that have evolved, I have been served a couple of lessons that I refused to take, and I chose pain instead, sometimes unknowingly. So as I'm working through my own layers and I'm shedding all identities and I'm rewriting my own stories and beliefs and convictions and stuff like that, was just such a visual confirmation that another sign, I am on the right way, I'm on the right path. And this is the beautiful part about doing this kind of a work. And one of the big identities that I am shedding, and it scares the shit out of me, is this constructed, confined, regal, I don't know if regal is the word here, very corporate way of doing things, running business, consulting, coaching, very, structured. And really allowing for more flow and play and ease, which is interesting because if you follow me, you know that those qualities have always been captured in the way that my clients experienced our collaboration. They have always been captured in what our clients created for ourselves. But yet for myself, I guess it's one of those one-on-one lessons. Sometimes we simply teach what we need to learn the most. And sometimes we say to others what we need to hear for ourselves. And sometimes we write for others what we wish we could read for ourselves. So when I would go out over the years and I'll be speaking about and sharing about this ease and grace and flexibility and freedom, it was on a whole next level, communicating with myself and almost like encouraging myself and motivating myself and inspiring myself to actually apply those same for me, especially during the years when I felt like being in a cage, when I felt so deeply disconnected, when I felt so deeply trapped, and I felt such a victim of circumstance, which is so funny to look back now. I was like, I'm a freaking force of nature. I am one of the most powerful women that I know energetically, and I hold a space that is so grand that there's no capacity to be anywhere close to being a victim. It was simply something I had to overcome, and I had to learn how to transform, transcend, transmute. So to see this confirmation today in a black bear coming down the hill as my mentor and I were talking about it and working through that. And with the bear, it's talking about, strength and confidence and leadership. And that it came just in time when my husband and I made one of the most important decisions that are going to affect our kids' lives for at least next year, possibly changing the whole trajectory for them. It was just such a divine visual confirmation, such a divine timing, and as they say, orchestration. So signs are everywhere. It's just on us to actually see them, acknowledge them, and then have the courage to follow this inner guidance, which is typically the only sign that really counts. But it's, like I said, It doesn't shout. It's really quiet. It's really subtle. And sometimes, last thought I want to leave you with, I was listening to the song Into the Unknown from Frozen 2. I would dare to say you have heard it before, especially if you're a parent, especially if you're a parent of the girls. But I do invite you to look up the lyrics. And I've heard that song so many times. At one point, I actually woke up in the middle of the night and it was playing through my mind. I was like, oh, please just shush. Anything but this song, please. But the other day we were driving and it came up on again, and I was really listening to the lyrics and I heard it differently this time. And especially the part when she says, I can hear you, but I'm going to tune you out because I know you're here to distract me to make a big mistake. I was like, wow, such a profound notion that on a conscious level, sometimes we are afraid to listen to those nudges and following those inner voices and our inner guidance and the signs that are all pointing us into the direction of where we're meant to go next. But we are afraid to somehow make a mistake. So what if we know that there's absolutely no mistakes, that we could not possibly make a mistake, right? Isn't it so much easier? And then when we shed the layers of, as I'm doing right now, those destructive tendencies, so the voices that are coming up can be even more pure and clearer. I mean, this is a whole conversation for a whole other time, but it called to be communicated, it called to come through. So I wanted to share this and just plant a seed, maybe something for you to contemplate on, something to be with today. So that said, I'm sending you a big bear hug because I'm pretty sure the bear is still somewhere around here. So sending you much love, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.